At the dawn of a new era, when technology increasingly merged with human essence, the world of football witnessed changes beyond imagination. Richard, whose name already resonated across the globe as a symbol of skill and passion for the sport, saw his trajectory take an unprecedented turn. Born amidst adversity, the young star had become a global phenomenon, inspiring millions with his artistry on the field. However, with the relentless advancement of science and the growing integration between man and machine, a new chapter in football history was beginning to be written. By the turn of the 23rd century, advanced technology had become an intrinsic part of human life. Amid this revolution, ambitious projects emerged that promised not only to enhance athletic performance but also to reimagine the limits of the human body. In this futuristic setting, Richard received a unique proposal: to participate in an experiment that would transform him into football's first cyborg. Initially deemed unthinkable, the idea took shape as the world's top research and sports development centers joined forces to create technology capable of integrating neural prostheses, bionic limbs, and real-time performance sensors, all without losing the essence of the skill and creativity that had made Richard an icon. For many, the proposal sounded dystopian, but for Richard, it was an opportunity to elevate his talent to levels never before imagined. The young athlete, always known for his audacity and ability to reinvent plays, saw in this project a chance to challenge the limits of what it meant to be human on the field. As the press and fans debated the ethical and sporting implications of this transformation, Richard prepared for a new phase, where the future and present converged in a technological embrace. The first steps toward transformation involved extensive studies and discussions with doctors, engineers, and neuroscience experts. Secret meetings in cutting-edge laboratories and rigorous tests determined that the human body could indeed be enhanced without losing the soul of the sport. In exclusive interviews, Richard stated that the change did not mean abandoning his identity but rather amplifying it, turning every move into a symphony of precision and creativity. Football, long regarded as an art in motion, was about to gain a new dimension, where human touch would blend with machine accuracy. As preparations progressed, the public began to anticipate a future where limits were merely starting points for new achievements. The excitement was so great that even skeptics started following the project closely, imagining what it would be like to see the Brazilian icon transformed into a hybrid entity, combining innate talent with technological precision. Thus, amid heated debates and futuristic visions, Richard embarked on a journey that could not only revolutionize his career but also redefine the very concept of sportsmanship. Richard's career had always been defined by dazzling dribbles, spectacular plays, and a natural talent that defied the laws of physics. From his early matches on dusty fields to the grand stages of the world's biggest stadiums, he had established himself as a football reference. However, even the brilliance of his feat seemed limited in the face of the growing integration between sports and technology. In a world where artificial intelligence and machines played decisive roles, the possibility of enhancing abilities through technology was a tempting proposition. In this new reality, major technology companies and sports research centers began developing devices capable of boosting athletes' performance. Amid this landscape, Richard was invited to participate in an innovative initiative aimed at transcending human limits. During a visit to one of the cutting-edge laboratories, he was introduced to prototypes of bionic implants and neural devices that promised to transform the experience on the field. The idea was simple: integrate technological elements into the human body to create a perfect synergy between natural talent and mechanical precision. In closed-door meetings with engineers and doctors, Richard discovered that this integration would enhance his reaction time, improve passing accuracy, and most importantly, elevate his performance during critical moments of matches. The proposal, though bold, awakened in him a sense of renewal and challenge. He had always believed that football was an ever-evolving form of art, and this technological transformation represented the next step in that evolution. At the same time, the prospect of becoming a cyborg sparked a mix of fascination and concern among his fans. Would it be possible to maintain the passion, emotion, and charisma that made him unique, even with a body partially composed of technology? Richard saw this new era as an opportunity not just to break records but to redefine the sport. In interviews, he emphasized that the project was not about replacing the human with the mechanical but about creating a new level where technique and innovation walked hand in hand. The pressure was immense, but the star's confidence remained unshaken. He knew that each training session, each test, and each enhancement was a step toward a future where the impossible could be achieved. As negotiations and tests progressed, the international press was divided between excitement and skepticism. Some journalists saw Richard's transformation as a brilliant move that would place Brazil at the forefront of sports innovation, while others warned about the risks of turning the sport into a scientific experiment. Amid this whirlwind of opinions, the star remained steadfast, demonstrating that his passion for football and his desire to innovate were greater than any doubt. Richard's rise on the field, now with the promise of unprecedented evolution, symbolized the convergence of human talent and technological strength. The meeting between the sports icon and cutting-edge innovations created an atmosphere of global anticipation, where every dribble, every pass, and every goal carried the weight of a transformative future. In the eyes of the world, Richard was no longer just a player, he was the harbinger of a new era in sports, where humanity and technology intertwined to create something truly extraordinary. Richard's transformation into a cyborg was not an overnight process but a journey marked by intense research, experiments, and medical challenges. In high-tech laboratories, where the line between science and fiction blurred, the Brazilian star began his transition from being purely human to becoming a fusion of flesh and circuits. This process required an unprecedented level of commitment, both from him and the specialists involved. The first step of this journey consisted of a series of medical and neurological evaluations to determine Richard's compatibility with the bionic implants. Each examination was meticulously conducted with the participation of biomedical engineers, neuroscientists, and world-renowned surgeons. The goal was to integrate devices that would enhance the connection between his brain and muscles, allowing the player to react with near-superhuman precision. These implants, tiny yet powerful, were designed to record real-time data, monitor performance, and automatically adjust muscle response during the game. After months of preparation and testing, the integration surgery was scheduled. In an innovative procedure conducted in a state-of-the-art surgical center, Richard underwent a complex operation involving the implantation of neural sensors and bionic prosthetics in both his lower and upper limbs. Every stage of the surgery was closely monitored by a team of specialists, aware that the success of this procedure could usher in a new era in sports. During the operation, doctors had to merge knowledge of human biology with precision engineering, connecting wires and microchips that would become a permanent part of the athlete's body. The post-operative period was marked by intense moments of recovery and adaptation. Richard faced pain and physical challenges as his body adjusted to its new reality. Rehabilitation involved not only physical therapy but also mental training sessions, allowing his mind to learn how to interact with the implanted devices. Every movement, every reflex had to be reprogrammed, and the player participated in intensive sessions with coaches specialized in human-machine integration techniques. The first days were difficult, requiring him to relearn how to execute dribbles and shots, but his determination and passion for the sport drove him to persist. Throughout the process, doubts and ethical concerns arose, both from specialists and the public. Some questioned whether Richard's essence would be compromised by integrating technological components into his body, while others saw the transformation as a natural evolution of the sport. For the athlete himself, what mattered was his desire to push past limits and continue mesmerizing millions with his innate skill, now enhanced by machine precision. Each test conducted during rehabilitation reinforced the possibility of success. The implanted sensors collected data that showed a significant improvement in reaction speed, shooting power, and the ability to perform complex movements with almost surgical precision. Gradually, Richard began to integrate the technology into his unique style, transforming classic dribbles into futuristic moves that seemed to defy gravity and logic. Thus, the transformation was not only physical but also symbolic. The star, long known for his creativity and boldness, now represented the convergence of human and technological potential. His journey, filled with challenges and triumphs, became an example of how innovation could be used to expand the capabilities of the body and mind without losing the essence of passion for the game. This integration promised not only to elevate football to new heights but also to inspire future generations to explore the boundaries of human-machine fusion. Richard's transformation into a cyborg not only redefined his performance on the field but also brought a series of personal and professional challenges that deeply shook his trajectory. While technological enhancements offered undeniable advantages in football, they also raised questions about identity, ethics, and the cost of immortalizing performance. Amid this new phase, Richard had to deal with the pressure of becoming a symbol of a sports revolution. The media, fans, and even opponents no longer saw him just as a player but as a living experiment, a fusion of man and machine. This heightened expectation created a high-tension environment where every play and every movement was meticulously analyzed. The constant comparison with his past self and with other human athletes made the star feel an ongoing need to prove that, even with implants and prosthetics, his essence remained intact. On a personal level, Richard faced intense internal conflicts. The process of integrating technological components into his body triggered ambivalent feelings. On one hand, there was pride in being at the forefront of innovation, a pioneer redefining the limits of the sport. On the other, there was unease and fear of losing what made him unique: his humanity. Friends, family, and even former teammates began questioning whether the new Richard was still the same player who had once enchanted the world with his natural talent. These doubts led to moments of isolation and deep reflection, where the athlete was forced to confront his most profound uncertainties about identity and purpose. Career challenges also intensified. The pressure for results and the expectation that every match would be a spectacle of near-perfect precision created an environment of extreme competitiveness. In training sessions and games, every dribble, every shot, and every defensive move was evaluated not just in terms of performance but also in terms of humanity. Critics and fans debated whether this fusion with technology made the game fairer or, conversely, created an insurmountable gap between enhanced athletes and those who remained entirely human. At the same time, Richard found himself entangled in ethical and legal dilemmas. Sports regulations had to adapt to this new reality, sparking heated debates about what it meant to compete on equal terms. With the advent of technology, new rules had to be established to preserve the essence of the sport without turning the game into a contest of who possessed the best enhancements. In interviews, Richard himself defended technology as a tool for evolution but insisted that the spirit of the game, passion, emotion, and the unpredictability of football, should always prevail. The duality between technological evolution and the preservation of personal identity profoundly marked this period in Richard's life. While he dazzled on the field with enhanced abilities, off the field, he faced moments of introspection and questioning about the true meaning of success. Living with his implants and adapting to a hybrid body required not only physical training but also psychological support. Sessions with specialized therapists helped him cope with anxiety and the fear of becoming less human, proving that behind every innovation was a personal story filled with challenges and triumphs. Thus, Richard's personal and professional struggles were not merely about adapting to new technology. They became a continuous battle to keep the flame of his passion for football alive, even as his own body underwent radical transformations. This journey, marked by highs and lows, inspired not only his fans but also other athletes and professionals who saw in Richard's experience an example of how evolution and humanity can coexist, even in the face of the dilemmas of a technological future. At the peak of his transformed career, when Richard had already established himself as the cyborg of the future, the unexpected happened. In a decisive match, with the world title at stake, something disturbing shook not only the stadium but also the very foundation of his perception of existence. During the game, as the crowd roared with every flawless movement and every futuristic dribble, a systemic failure in his implanted monitoring system triggered a series of events no one could have foreseen. At that moment, the stadium's giant screens began displaying old memories, intimate glimpses of Richard's journey. Scenes of his childhood in the streets of Sao Paulo, of hardships overcome, of the triumphs that made him an icon. In the midst of the chaos, Richard stopped in the middle of the field, frozen, as if absorbing each fragment of his own past. The crowd fell into stunned silence and commentators, bewildered, struggled to grasp what was unfolding before them. Then, in a shocking live transmission, cryptic messages emerged from his system, messages hinting at a hidden truth behind Richard's transformation. The corrupted data revealed that his implants were not merely enhancement devices. They contained codes and protocols developed by a secret group of scientists who believed not just in the immortality of physical abilities but in the preservation of the human soul itself. This shocking revelation turned the tide of fate. Richard was not just an enhanced athlete. He carried within him a legacy of secrets capable of altering the course of football and humanity itself. The game came to a halt, and amidst the confusion, Richard felt a surge of emotions that forced him to question everything he had ever known. Every dribble, every goal, now held new meaning. It was no longer just the sum of his enhanced skills but a reflection of a hidden truth buried within the technology. In later interviews, Richard described that moment as a turning point, where the boundary between human and machine dissolved, and he found himself face to face with a destiny he had never imagined. The revelation spread like wildfire, dividing opinions and creating an air of mystery that transcended sports. While some dismissed it as a technological glitch, others saw it as a call from fate itself, a sign that Richard's chosen path was filled with secrets and challenges yet to be uncovered. This episode, rich in symbolism, became the hook of the narrative, a moment when the truth revealed itself in an overwhelming manner, gripping the world's attention and raising questions that extended far beyond football. Faced with this confrontation with destiny, Richard began searching for answers. In a series of interviews and public statements, he insisted that what he experienced in that moment was not a malfunction but a glimpse into the complexity of his own existence. A message that transformation, no matter how advanced, still carried the essence of his humanity. This revelation not only shook the sports world but also challenged fundamental notions of identity, legacy, and fate, prompting fans and critics alike to reconsider the future of sports and technology. After the revelation of the hidden truth behind his implants and the secrets surrounding his transformation, Richard found himself facing a new challenge: winning the acceptance of a world divided between admiration for innovation and fear of the unknown. Amid heated debates and ethical controversies, the star had to fight not only for his career but also for his very identity. He now stood at a crossroads where being a cyborg meant both an unprecedented competitive advantage and the risk of losing his human essence. Fans who once cheered for every revolutionary play now questioned whether the integration of technology was creating an unbridgeable gap between the athlete and the man they had always known. In the stands, shouts of support mixed with protests, while experts debated whether Richard's evolution represented the future of sports or the end of football's authenticity. In the midst of this polarized landscape, the player himself sought to reaffirm that despite his enhancements, his love for the game and his emotions remained unchanged. Richard dedicated himself to meeting young athletes, giving talks, and holding open training sessions, demonstrating that technology was merely an extension of his natural talent, not a replacement for his soul. In candid interviews, he shared the emotional struggles he faced during his recovery and adaptation to his hybrid body, emphasizing that the journey was not just physical but deeply spiritual. The quest for acceptance became an internal battle, where he questioned his own limits and sought a balance between machine-like precision and the unpredictability of the human heart. As he fought to regain the support of his fans, Richard also faced criticism from conservative figures in the sport, who saw his transformation as a threat to football's tradition and essence. In televised debates and sports forums, intense discussions emerged. Would the future of football be dominated by hybrid athletes, or was there still room for the magic of the game played by ordinary humans? In response, Richard remained resilient, using each match as an opportunity to prove that, despite the implants, he still played with the same brilliance and passion that had captivated the world. Amid this whirlwind of opinions, Richard sought to craft a narrative of acceptance and evolution. He engaged in social projects, promoted inclusion campaigns, and openly shared his experiences to inspire other athletes to embrace change without fearing the loss of their identity. His struggle for acceptance became a symbol of a greater truth: that the real evolution of sports lay in the ability to merge tradition with innovation without sacrificing the human essence that made football so beloved. This battle, fought both within himself and on the global stage, showed that being a cyborg of the future was not just about technology. It was about the courage to face the ethical and emotional challenges that the future imposed. Richard became, for many, the emblem of a new era, one where the fusion of humanity and machine, if guided with wisdom, could create an inspiring legacy for generations to come. With his transformation solidified and his personal challenges gradually overcome, Richard became the face of a revolution in the world of football. His presence on the pitch was not only a spectacle of enhanced abilities but also a symbol of a new era, one where the fusion of technology and sport redefined the limits of what was possible. Fans, players, and coaches began to see football with new eyes, witnessing a blend of tradition and innovation that promised to turn every match into a unique event. On training grounds and in grand stadiums, Richard's influence became undeniable. Academies and training centers adopted technologies inspired by his implants, creating programs that used sensors and artificial intelligence to monitor athletes' performance in real time. New game strategies emerged, where mechanical precision merged with human creativity to produce spectacular plays capable of challenging even the most rigid tactical foundations. The presence of this cyborg of the future inspired an entire generation of young athletes, who saw in his journey the possibility of breaking barriers and surpassing limits once thought impossible. In football academies, Richard became an icon not only of skill but also of courage and innovation. Coaches emphasized the importance of integrating mind, body, and technology, while physical preparation incorporated elements of cybernetic rehabilitation to help athletes reach their full potential without compromising their health. Meanwhile, sports media dedicated extensive coverage to analyzing Richard's every move, showcasing how technological enhancements allowed for millimeter-precise dribbles, passes, and shots. Documentaries and special programs delved into the science behind his transformation, exploring the breakthroughs that enabled the seamless fusion between athlete and machine. This surge of interest ignited heated debates about the future of the sport, where human talent and technology would walk hand in hand to create a new level of competitiveness. As football adapted to this new reality, major international competitions introduced special categories where hybrid athletes posed unprecedented challenges. Richard, the Cyborg, stood out, not only for his technical feats but also for his leadership, advocating for transparency and ethics in the application of new technologies. His example became a guiding light, paving the way for a more inclusive and innovative future, where sports evolved while maintaining their human essence. The revolution Richard sparked extended beyond the pitch, influencing the entire sports industry. It drove the development of advanced equipment, smart apparel, and even stadiums outfitted with cutting-edge monitoring systems. Each innovation contributed to an atmosphere where the passion for football blended seamlessly with excitement for the future. The global sports community united in celebration of this unprecedented fusion of tradition and modernity. Thus, the new era of football, led by this hybrid icon, promised to redefine the very concepts of performance and talent, paving the way for a future where technology and the human spirit would advance together, turning every game into a masterpiece in motion. Despite all the advancements and achievements, Richard's transformation brought with it a profound internal battle. Becoming a cyborg forced the star to confront an identity conflict that challenged his deepest convictions and emotions. On one hand, he had surpassed human limits, acquiring extraordinary abilities. On the other, there lingered the uncertainty of whether this new form had made him lose the essence that had turned him into a global icon. In moments of introspection, Richard wondered if technological enhancements had overshadowed his human side, the part of him that saw football as more than just a competition but as an expression of art and emotion. During long hours of solitary training, he found himself reliving memories of his childhood, the first matches played on dusty fields, and the genuine passion that had driven him through the toughest times. This return to his roots awakened a sense of nostalgia and, at the same time, the urgent need to reaffirm his identity. The pressure to meet expectations was immense. With every game, every training session, Richard battled the fear that something precious was slipping away, the spontaneity, the vulnerability, and the uncontrollable passion that had long defined his style of play. Close friends and family noticed this internal struggle and, in heartfelt conversations, encouraged him to find a balance between technological enhancement and preserving his essence. This support, while comforting, did not erase the doubts that crept into his most solitary moments. Richard's journey to rediscover himself became an ongoing and often painful process. In sessions with psychologists specializing in technological adaptation, he sought to understand how to integrate his new abilities without abandoning his humanity. This therapeutic process revealed not only internal struggles but also the resilience of a man who had always known that to evolve, he had to embrace change, even if it meant facing his personal demons. During this period, Richard began participating in discussion groups with other athletes who had undergone similar transformations, creating a space to share experiences and engage in deep reflections. These gatherings not only helped him understand the complexities of living between two worlds but also reinforced the idea that human identity is multifaceted and can expand without being lost. Gradually, Richard learned to appreciate both his mechanical and human sides, realizing that true evolution lies in the ability to integrate all aspects of oneself. This internal journey was not just a personal struggle but also a message to the world. The story of one of football's greatest players fighting to maintain his identity amid technological advancements sparked discussions about what it truly means to be human in an era of relentless innovation. It was a powerful reminder that, even in the face of radical transformations, the search for authenticity and personal integrity remains essential. In the end, Richard's fight to rediscover his identity became one of the pillars of his new era, a testament that, no matter how much technology enhances skills, it is the soul, passion, and memories of the past that give meaning to every movement on the field. Over the years, Richard's transformation not only revolutionized his own career but also left a profound legacy that impacted the world of football and beyond. He became a symbol of resilience, innovation, and, above all, the human ability to reinvent oneself without losing one's essence. The cyborg of the future inspired generations of young athletes who saw in him the proof that limits were merely starting points for new horizons. Richard's legacy went beyond statistics and the trophies accumulated throughout his career. He came to be remembered as the pioneer who opened the doors to a new era, where technology and talent merged to create a unique spectacle. Football schools began incorporating technological devices inspired by his implants into their training programs, while sports research centers used his experience to develop methods that combined the best of science with the art of the game. This movement transformed the sport, making it more dynamic, inclusive, and prepared for future challenges. For many, Richard represented the possibility of continuous evolution, the idea that even after reaching the pinnacle of one's career, there is always room to innovate and reinvent. His story motivated athletes to seek not only technical excellence but also to value the personal journey, the internal struggles, and the perseverance that make up the true essence of a champion. In interviews and lectures, he emphasized that a legacy is not only measured by goals scored but also by the inspiration left for future generations, the courage to face change, and the determination to remain true to oneself despite adversity. Beyond sports, Richard's legacy extended into the social and cultural fields. His story became an example for discussions on the integration of humans and machines, the ethics of technology, and the importance of preserving identity even in the face of disruptive innovations. He collaborated with social and educational projects, promoting the inclusion of assistive technologies and advocating for the idea that technological advancements could serve as a tool for empowering communities and transforming lives.